are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easily pretty. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that this dress is skin tight is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only gone for this.
On this episode of Jessica Javens Talk, we're going to be talking to an amazing person who is making a difference in the world with healing through stand-up and improv. And I would love to welcome Paula Newman. Hi, Paula. Welcome to Jessica Javens Talk. Thank you so much for coming. Could you please share a little bit about your mission right now and where did that start?
I love how you emphasize little bit. Like, I don't know who you just had on. Yes. I have a nonprofit aware meditation and outreach program called Rise Up Comedy. And we have a wonderful program called Stand Up Comedy for Healing. Laughter is healing. This takes it to a whole other level about speaking your truth in a safe space and the results people have had helping with CPTSD and trauma by simply having that opportunity.
That's amazing. Now, how did that start? How did Paula begin this?
All right. So it's never simple, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
I would love to say that I had a vision, I cognized it, and I am an angelic being. But honestly, it goes back to me getting hurt, working in an office on a computer, and my life just completely going down the toilet. And I had to get off pain meds. I found meditation. Through that, I realized I was teaching people like myself who were in chronic pain or people who were transitioning out after prison and sobering up. And so in the pandemic, I couldn't teach meditation face to face, but I knew we needed to laugh. And I did a fundraiser for meditators to laugh with international comics. And the next day, my friend said, "Why aren't you doing comedy?" And I was like, no. I tried the fame game. It's a whole dangling carrot. I want to do this. We did another live stream. "Why aren't you doing comedy?" I was like, and so what happened was I spent a year trying to prove my friend wrong by doing comedy to show how there would be no traction. Nothing.
To show her wrong.
Yeah, prove him wrong. And what happened was I started booking gigs I should not be booking within a month. And I was going through these huge emotional traumatizing experiences preparing for the gig. And it wasn't until a couple of years later, a couple of people happened to refer me to teach them meditation. And I thought, what? I'm sorry, not referred to teach meditation, comedy. I already teach meditation. And I was like, I'm not a famous comedian. Like, usually the brain wants to look at what people have. Like, you know how we look, oh, they have a house, they have a family, they have a company. Everyone is delusional in thinking they have it together because you go behind closed doors.
Yep.
And so I was flattered because some of these were, pseudo celebrities who referred me. I thought, this is weird. But I took them individually through a process of how to do your first set, speaking about your own truth. One was talking about their OCD, and another was talking about, being anxious and being recently, dealing with being sober and trying to perform. Like, it was very raw. And it had an event where we did a lovely culminating show. And they jumped 3 years of comedy. And I thought, wow, maybe, this is it. Oh, I'm going to change the world in a second, and then after that, everything went dead. But what I started to experience myself was my healing physically from this injury started to move forward as I was doing comedy, except I was going to clubs and places. So comedy is very traumatizing because people go to get validated.
You said that the comedy started to affect your personal healing with your chronic pain from your accident. And then how did that happen? I just want to open a little bit of that box because I'm all for that and I love it. So explain to me how it worked for you first.
All right. So I got hurt working on a computer in an office with a repetitive stress injury. Yeah. Mine affected my whole nervous system in a way that, I wasn't able to put my arm out. I still live in chronic pain. I have problems on the left side, especially because it's so complex and mixed in. And I was functional. Don't get me wrong. I was told I can only do 45 minutes of anything repetitive a day. Well, come on, now that's brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, getting in the shower and getting dressed. Like, people don't realize how much we do repetitively. And when I started to do the comedy, holding a microphone was hard. So there was a microphone stand. Okay. But I'm an act out comedian. And what happened was I had done comedy for a year, but I didn't experience this kind of healing. This is very important to note. I had taken a class, I'd done the thing, but what hadn't happened was a shift in my consciousness and how I was doing it. And the shift was because I was doing it for my nonprofit for a cause. And when I would get up there, I just knew I was supposed to be doing this. And I would spend hours repeating the same 5-minute set, recording it, watching it, trying to get the words in my mouth, trying to be relaxed in my body. And every time I perform, it would be like this mountain I would go up. I'd come back. There'd be a few days when my physiology would settle. Now, some of that is a relief. When we go through something, we have a relief afterwards. And so it's like, okay, was the relief what made it feel better? No, I went through that, but then something would shift in me. And my chiropractor, especially, who works on my body regularly, noticed that my body was beginning to open up.
Wow.
And so then I would swear I'm not doing comedy again. But then I'd do another fundraiser for my nonprofit because I knew we needed a laugh. And so then I would perform with that. And then I was dealing with my brain. My brain doesn't think like normal people. Like, I know comedians always say that everyone has ADHD, neurodivergent. But I had to, all my life, I've had what I thought is a translator box. There's what people say. I have to go through here, go through a translator box to what they mean. And then there's what I say, and I have to realize I have to put it through a translator box so people understand me, right? This came up in a major way when I was trying to do comedy. Because in real life, one can be funny. How do you put it on stage so a bunch of strangers can relate to something that isn't happening in the moment, but happened to you before, and you put in the moment? So I was facing these things I didn't realize were on a deep level, including my CPTSD.
Wow. This is amazing. I really would love you to unpack that a little bit more. But now, how did that experience with you translated into you wanting to do this now to others?
Brilliant question. Oh, it's going to sound so silly. It's going to sound silly.
I want to hear it.
Okay. So, okay, in the pandemic, I let go of my meditation guru. I was given a contract to sign, and the way that some words were phrased did not sit in my heart. And so I had reached out to them and said, listen, I have no problem paying you the royalties for your courses. I'm always honest about that. But I can't sign this one paragraph. You are not the owner of this knowledge. And you taught me that. And I can't do it. And what happened was there was a big to-do, which is hilarious because I wasn't bringing in them loads of money anyway, because I was teaching people to be self-sufficient. What a concept. And I then sat there and I thought, well, maybe I'm supposed to be doing this non-profit thing, helping people, and through helping people, I help myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that.
Thank you. It is such an ancient, I'm going to say ancient because it's an ancient truth.
Yes.
Through helping other people, we help ourselves. And people who don't know that, or if it's new to you, it's quite common because lots of my family members and people, and they know I'm not super wealthy. They usually think, my goal in life is to become really famous, super wealthy, and then I can help people. And I got to a point and I'm like, well, you know what, Paula, you might not ever become super famous or super wealthy. So if the real goal is to help other people, why don't you just do that now?
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
And because I had this behind me, I believe I got into clubs. I got headliners and people to be participating in things. Because truly, no matter how crazy you hear with what's going on with comedians now, truly, majority of them have a big heart. And when you speak heart to heart and wanting to help, that happens. I mean, we'll talk a bit back more, but the fact that Margaret Cho, who I knew because I did, guess what? I helped produce charity fundraiser comedy shows, knew me, and then I asked, would you endorse it? I'm not on the stage with her unless it's a charity thing that I'm putting together. But because I'm helping other people, it's helping myself, and something in my body in a deep, deep, visceral way is shifting to, Paula's back online to doing what Paula's supposed to be in the world. Comedy is traumatizing. I talk about in the book how I put myself sometimes in traumatizing experiences to transcend it and break this CPTSD habit. Break it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I'm glad you brought up about your book. Tell us about what's coming. Tell us a little bit more about that, because people, by the time they see this episode, they need to be following you and also get their hands on that. So tell us a little bit about that.
First of all, thank you for that lovely encouragement for people to follow. I really find the support now from women. I would tell just a little anecdote. I also am part of something of laughter, helping heal and change your consciousness. And someone who's the CEO of it allowed me to come on for about 5 minutes. And I just did something. And at the end, he does a Q&A. And come on, he had a doctor talk for like 15 minutes. He did his thing. I came on for like 5 max. And this woman at the back goes, I want to acknowledge this beautiful bright light of a woman that you had come up here and do that 5 minutes. Like, that changed me. And of course, he said something like, oh, is that your shill? And I'm like, no. And this was a club of people who are worth 10 million or more, right? And I don't give a flying hoot about whether you have money or not anymore, because I work from the heart. So I'm hanging out with the help, and I'm hanging out with millionaires. And you mean that you are the same? unless you start talking to me on a different vibe from the heart. Like if you're a poo-poo head, whether you're broke or rich, I'm like, I'm done with you. But if you are honest and it's so fascinating because I talked to them afterwards and I said, thank you for acknowledging me and my time here. She was like, Paula, you are so bright that even if you didn't talk in your accent,
Wow.
I am so drawn to what you do. And I thought, how beautiful was that to acknowledge it? So I wanted to acknowledge that you said that and you acknowledged that, because to me, it reminds me I'm on the path of helping women collaborate with women.
I love it.
So now said that. Now, what was the question again?
I listen, when I read a little bit about you, it was like magnetizing to me, because everything that I read about you, and it was a short little bio, everything there, it was so high vibrational, so loving, so compassionate, so giving, so large. And I'm so thankful that you're here with us today and that our listeners can get to know you. My question to you is, because you're coming up with more, like you already have a beautiful history behind you. You've done changes, and you are, what I read from you is that today you are at the best part of your life ever. Like you're at the best of you right now, Paula, and you're continuing to transcend, and you have some things coming up. So by the time this episode reaches the world, you're going to have some things out there that they need to put their hands on. And I would like you to talk about your book.
All right. Thank you. And I'll stay focused. That was lovely. Who wrote that bio? Brilliant. Even if it was me, brilliant. Wow. That was a moment. Yes, let's talk about it. The book is called Pain to Punchlines, Stand-Up Comedy, A Transformation Superpower.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
I love that. I need you, before you start, I need you to meet a friend of mine who was on season 1. She is an improv. She's been for decades. She is amazing. Her name is Jill Pavlov. And she has the whole improv comedy way of teaching women. That's what she's about, empowering women too. You guys need to cross paths. Continue. Tell me about your book.
I will. I'll reach out. So I wanted to find a way to express this, because I don't have huge followings on social media. I don't have a billionaire in my pocket. How can I do this? And I thought, you know, we had an ebook for aware meditation called Vedic Meditation Stories on Amazon Kindle. And I put that there for people to understand what I'm doing. And then the second part are people's truth. I get people an opportunity to do it. And I thought, let's do this about this transformation of stand-up comedy, because people are looking at me a little like, and so I put it there. And then I knew I wanted to get people involved in it. So I got quotes from comedians, and then some people wrote the stories, not only my students, and I say story, it's a page, about their personal experience of how it's transformed them. And I'm talking about transformation from the heart, not necessarily, I bought the house, I found the person, because that is often grounded in sand, not rock. Right. Yeah. And as I was doing this was when I knew I needed to get, you know, a quote from maybe a celebrity. And as I'm going through it, I'm facing my own CPTSD. I'm facing my own stuff of it's lockdown. I can't write. And so I write about that, but I talk about the science of laughter being healing, right? I'm a laughter yoga instructor as well. So I know the physical aspects that happen when we laugh, but taking it to the next level, which is when we speak our truth by performing stand-up comedy in a non-shame space. Comedy clubs are based in shame.
Explain that.
Yeah. So the shame cycle. Someone gets up to perform stand-up comedy, needing validation. The audience is there waiting to someone to make them laugh.
Yeah.
They don't usually come from a love space. And we also don't feel comfortable laughing too loud or too much because we might have been told that's not appropriate to laugh at.
Yep.
Or you laugh too loud. I was told I laughed too loud for a
Me
girl.
too. Oh, yeah.
You can't do that. So the comedy clubs, they pump people with alcohol, whatever, so people feel comfortable to let go, right? And most of the people who often come to comedy clubs actually want to be up there speaking their truth, but they don't have that space or platform. So the comedian will say something. If they get a laugh, it validates them and their shame, right? Their self-shame they come up with, right? And then they try to get another laugh. Now, if they don't get that laugh, it doesn't work. What happens is the comedian will often say something to put down the audience. And then people might laugh because that's someone else being put down in a space that you can do, right? So the set is over. The comedian either feels great that they got validation from the outside because they're coming in to get validated. Aren't I funny? Aren't I great? The audience may have laughed down at someone else, feeling okay about that, right? May have related it. Very few times does this come from love. And so it's a re-traumatizing cycle. And don't get me wrong, I love comedy clubs. I
do too. And what you're saying, it makes perfect sense, but I never thought it. Thank you for breaking that down.
It's that, I'm a little trepidatious about it because I don't want to get like people like, what? She thinks she's better than. But there are pro comedians who have figured out how to get to the other side of love when they stand up and perform. When we get to a place where we are performing to speak our truth and share a communal experience with an audience that's open, it's a transcendent experience. You cannot get that on film. You cannot get that even watching a play. You are part of the event. Now, you can have a comedian that comes up with love there, but the audience isn't reciprocating that. That's okay. So there's two parts of it. It's the audience and the individual. So I help create the space with the audience, with the shows I do, because we're there for a cause. We're there to have fun. We're there in community. And many of them are there to support a person who's probably taken a class, perform for the first time. So I prepare their audience to come from a loving, supportive space. The person who stands up there, it's about them speaking their truth. So you go through some anxiety. Don't get me wrong. That's pretty normal. And I provide the space for them. And they come away with, obviously it can feel like a high, but the few days afterwards, I usually interview them 3 to 4 days at least afterwards. There has to be a gap to let it settle. And then they notice how their life has opened up because they did that. They are standing up, speaking their truth. And we all were shut down at children in some way, but we're reprogramming neurological pathways, which apparently looks like horns right now. I don't know why. We're reprogramming the neurological pathways to enter without needing validation, but to express our truth in love. And that's why people's lives change.
What a beautiful recipe. I don't even know if I can call it that way, but the combination that you created together like this and that awareness and the timing and how this is incredible. I would love to have that experience because you're right. We think about, people sometimes say, well, I have trauma that I carry. We all do. We all do. We were all kids. We were all, so you're not different than anybody else. We all do. And we just have to continue to grow and find ourselves, our true selves in a safe, loving place. What an amazing work you're doing, Paula. So going back to your book, tell me, I haven't read it yet, and I wish I had before I had you here, but I know I'm going to get my hands on it as well. Tell me one of the maybe 2 key points that you can leave our listeners with that you wanted to make sure that you brought out in that book?
Great question. We all have trauma, but where do we have a modality to work through it and it's safe and fun?
No.
This is it. This is it.
Oh my God. I love it.
And through that, it doesn't have to be expensive. But the nonprofit offsets it. We do lower rates so people around the world can dial it, and we do it online. Why? So I can reach people in rural areas, or people in wheelchairs, or people who aren't able to get out, but they can get online.
Yes.
So some of the shows are online and some of them are in person. And I would love to have you as part of the class. I have
I
one.
would love to. And where do you do this in person, Paula? Is it in California?
Yes, if it's in person. So for the class 100% on Zoom. Let me tell you why, because it works. It creates this womb of a safe space when we do it. But when we perform the final show, if there are, 4 people dialing in from Atlanta, what happens is we create a show in Atlanta so their friends can come and bear witness in Atlanta, right? If we have people like I've done from New Zealand, America, and what was the other country? I think it was Australia in one of them. We do it online, right? And they have their friends. And then if we have a couple of people who are in one city, then we create an event, or if I'm producing a show. The goal is, this is the goal, Jessica, is for me to start the classes online and then finish up in different places around the world.
God. How beautiful is that?
Have a community of laughter. And then maybe I can be there to teach meditation or speak about wellness in a practical way in stress reduction techniques and combine it all.
Paula, what a beautiful, amazing mission that you're on and what you're creating. This is an absolutely beautiful thing. I'm so privileged to get to know a little bit about this. Before we conclude our show today, because I just have maybe 1 or 2 more questions, I'd just like to bring out a little spot for my sponsors here. This show is brought by Forever Living, which is the best aloe vera juice in the world for the last 47 years, and would transform my health, and Purium, the lifestyle transformation through superfoods. My brother's bar in Fort Lauderdale called Through the Vine. So, Paul, if you come to Florida, you're coming to meet my brother. He's also on my podcast on season 1. And you're going to get to see one of the best wine bars in Florida. Now, going back to our conversation here, I love that you made this episode funny, but I want you to leave it with something else. Can you share with me? I don't know if you're prepared for this, but can you share with the audience here something that you would like to leave them with that is funny and it will touch their emotions so they can carry that for the rest of the day or maybe the rest of the week after watching this episode?
It's just something that people can have as a takeaway to change their day. All right, let's do a laughter exercise. You can be in your car. The car is great. If you're listening to this on a walk, then okay, watch. Simply start to laugh. Simply start to laugh and see what happens to your body. Start to laugh, and there'll be a point where you'll start to laugh because you're just laughing, and that's just, I just start to talk about it. It's just stupid.
I know. Oh.
You're like, there's a release in the chest. There's relaxation. If we want to change our lives permanently, we have to do this 10 to 15 minutes a day, and I have techniques and things that I can go into businesses, but anyone right now, just start to spontaneously laugh. Even if something isn't funny, do that belly laugh, and you will have a shift from the fight or flight response to the relaxation state like that.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? That is so backed up by science. There's so many evidence out there. And also this brings longevity. It brings high quality life, good quality. And that's been proven. And there's so many people who can show it by their lives. People over 100 years old, one of their main key, when you ask them why, because I make sure that I laugh every day. So, Paula, thank you so much for leaving us with this. It's some simple things that we sometimes, because of distraction or whatever excuse there is or patterns, we forget the basics of what us humans need to really have good health and heal. So thank you. How can our audience now reach you?
Perfect. Well, ultimately, if you're on social media at Paula Jane Newman, it's like Paul Newman, but Paula and Jane. Through that, there will be links to riseupcomedy.org, awaremeditation.org, and it will have links to the comedy. And just so you know, people who might be like, I don't want to do the comedy in a class. Well, the first couple of people, we did it private sessions. So that's eligible as well, because it's a vulnerable space.
Thank you so much. Make sure, guys, that you're sharing this episode with everybody, because every human being needs to know this and know that they have access to things unimaginable that can really change and transform your life. So thank you, Paula, for being in the show today.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. This show is brought by Andre the Beast Creighton and I Am Beast Network. This is Jessica Javens Talk.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby